And then another key part of this lesson is facilitating those whole class discussions. So we encourage you to invite a variety of students to share their ideas. If you hear something as you're walking around, you can use those ideas to seed the discussion, or even ask a student, oh, hold on to that thought, I'd like you to share that later, so they're prepared to share. And then if you find that there is some sort of misunderstanding, that you can use the sim to help correct that understanding or guide them just in the correct direction. All right, couple clips of a teacher-led discussion. So I've got 2 of them here.
So notice what Vaughn is noticing. He said, wait, I did the exact, or not Vaughn, Declan is noticing, I did the exact same thing as Vaughn. I have a negative 2x, because 2x minus 4x combined to negative 2x. I have a subtract 6. I have a 12, because 7 plus 2 combines to 12. He's like, why isn't it balanced? Xander, go ahead and give that same answer.
Because x doesn't equal -9.
So you have to look up here. You can change the value of x. And this is what I was saying. You could be checking your value of x all the time. So what is happening when, wait, okay. So we know the answer of x is -9. Will you take that back up high again? What happened when that was shifting to the right? Walker?
The negative numbers are further away from 0, so that the whole number 12 is bigger. I had it.
Yes. It's greater because it's heavier, right? And yet when we put a positive value in here, the bigger we got with x, Walker is saying this becomes even more negative. And this is still positive, so it becomes even heavier. I saw you get the arrow to be red. How do you get the arrow to be red? You max out the scale. What would the max of the scale be?
40.
Okay. So then what do we have here? Negative 40. So think back to our do now. Think about when we had to select a value off on the right, which right now is 12. Think about our do now when you had to pick this box and you picked 2. When you had to pick this coefficient to get the greatest value of x. Think of our do now and make a connection to this scale.
All right, one more. All right, so I've got a little context there on the left so you can see the problem they're working
So we know
through.
what the value of x has to be. How are we going to get this value of x on the scale? What do we have to do next to get this x all by itself on one side of the scale? Michael?
You add 6 to both sides.
You add 6 to both sides. Will you come do it on our paper and pencil? Kind of erase that. Will you write it on the board here? And then who's up there? Is that Declan's? Then Declan, would you model what Michael is going to be doing on paper and pencil?
So add 6 to both sides.
Add 6 to both sides. And then,
Yeah.
okay, and then Michael, if you'll step aside.
9.
So what Declan modeled was adding 6 to both sides, but Michael did it on paper. When we add 6 to both sides, this had the yellow, poof, gone, cancellation, 0 pairs, and 12 plus 6 is 18. We still don't have, on our balance scale, this value, x equals -9. How are we going to change this side of the balance scale such that we get just x? I know you know how to do it because you already did on paper and pencil. I'm going to draw a stick. Austin, how are we going to get this to be just x so that we can eventually get to this answer? How do we change a -2x into just positive 1x?
You divide it by 2.
Okay. Would you come up and do it on the board? while Declan, will you model dividing by 2 on the overhead?
So obviously that continued because then they were left with negative x. But if anyone was sort of wondering how am I going to transfer this to the things that my curriculum is telling me I need to teach my students how to do by the end of the day, they need to solve these equations on paper. They're not using a sim. I hope that just gave a little glimpse into how she tied it with having students doing both at the same time to make that connection to the pencil and paper. Okay, so last thing is just to, and this is the last clip I promise, is to just keep in mind that you want a little extra time in there. If you think something's going to take 10 minutes, maybe plan for 15 minutes. Just to capitalize on some of those really unexpected student discoveries or observations. There's really some great learning opportunities here, even if it wasn't necessarily part of your plan.
Seeing there. What is the value of x then, do you think? Is 19 the only answer that would work for x? No. If I put 19 in this x and 19 in that x, would it be balanced?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other values for x that I could put in here and also here? Oh. So give me some more answers. Okay, x equals 6. If I put 6 in here, would it also equal there? Are there any other ones? Give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. What about 1/2? If I put 1/2 here and 1/2 there, would it be balanced? What if I put x equals negative 1.723? It'd still be the same? Is there a limit of the values of x that I could put on this side that would not equal or balance the other side? So we call that infinitely many solutions. No matter which you put in there, it's going to work.
So that was not part of her learning goal. But that was a really valuable discovery, and then he got to later share with the class. So all the class really benefited from that. So again, just a reminder, there's so many rich opportunities here in a sim that it's just good to have that extra time. Okay, and then lastly, you want to summarize. Right? So students have been off in all these different corners, potentially learning things that were not part of your goal. So we recommend you do something at the end to summarize. It could be formal, right? Like we talked about an exit ticket. It could be sort of informal with a discussion. It could be just a question on the activity sheet. Some of these I think I saw someone point out, it was just directly on there. Summarize your thinking or apply it to this new problem. So some way to wrap it all up so that students leave the class kind of knowing what they were supposed to learn for the day.